When I say my hands are like palms, sweaty, sweaty palms, sweaty palms. I don't know what this is. The palms are sweaty. We talk about my melanin though. Like, and no, I'm not greasy. It just, why? My goodness. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I hadn't been live in a while, so I figured I'd pop on while I'm like multitasking. Pop on while I work. Pop on, go live while I work. And hi, TikTokers in the building. First, is always, hello to the TikTok fam. I hope that y'all are all doing well. It's a beautiful Wednesday. This morning started off real cool, real breezy. Was not trying to get out of the bed. I think it was like 67 degrees in my house because I'm trying to manage how often I cut the heat on. And I was like, this blanket said we go together, and I was like, well, I accept your proposal, blanket, and I will stay with thee. I will stay with thee as long as you will have me. So me and my blanket was in love this morning. We were in love. Alafia Rob Akbo Ato Alafia. So yeah, I am just hadn't been on live in a minute. I'm working on some stuff for my god kids, and I decided I'm gonna just go live. Plus, since Spirit is like, I need to do something and be vulnerable in some kind of way. I don't know what it is yet. So I was like, well, sometimes when I go live, it'll trigger what the thing is supposed to be. Somebody will ask me a question. So I'm allowing myself to be open to receive. So I'm crafting so y'all can ask me questions, whatever you want to ask, until someone asks me something. I'm going to start with a little nerddom. So, for all my anime folks, Attack on Titan is coming back in November, and I am rewatching Attack on Titan. And so, first, let me preface this because I'm gonna say something, and y'all are gonna immediately like, she gets high, and I do not. I do not imbibe honestly in any traditional fashion. So I don't smoke anything of any kind. I don't drink, any alcohol. This is literally just me sitting rewatching the anime and noticing a correlation and going, yo, oh, I see. Oh, okay, okay. And it's definitely going to be one of those like she gets high, and I'm like, I promise you, I don't get high. I promise I don't. So, um, watching Attack on Titan. So, for those who don't know the premise, I'm going to break the premise down. And as I break down the premise of the show, you'll understand the correlation without me saying it. So, Attack on Titan, Okay. Oh, sorry. Spoiler alert. For those of you who may be new to Attack on Titan, planning to watch Attack on Titan, and are going or watching this, give me maybe about 10-15 minutes because I'm about to spoiler just a little bit. I'm about to spoiler a little bit. Sorry. So sorry. So sorry. So Attack on Titan, dystopian world, and the way you come into it is you're on an island. And Alafia, you're on an island and you are introduced to some of the main characters, whatever. But basically, what's going on is they're on an island. They live behind these walls, and they live behind these walls because they're these humanoid creatures. They look like human, but they're giants, and the giant humans are eating the regular size humans. And so that's why they live behind the walls. And what they believe has happened is basically like there was a world in like the rest of the human world has ended. It's literally just them within the walls. So, story continues, characters, yada, yada, yada. What you find out later, so they've been segregated, they've been relegated to the island by themselves because what happened was there was a deity who imbued a specific group of people into her lineage, giving them special gifts. And she gave these people special gifts, but depending on how that gift manifested, it could be dangerous, it could be scary. People were afraid of it, And so then you have this other group of people who does not inherently have this gift. And in that knowing, they're like, well, we can't have these other folks with this gift unless we can control it. So what we're going to do is we're going to demonize this group of people. There's going to be a battle. We're going to demonize these people. We're going to send several of them away on an island because clearly we can't have them all together in one space, because if they're all together in one space, clearly they will all unify and overthrow us. So we've got some of them off on the island, some of them here. And the ones here, we are going to brainwash them into feeling like they're brethren, same people. Brethren are all evil and they're demons, and they should not want to be like them. They should do everything they possibly can to be completely different from those people. They're evil, they're monsters, they're savages, all of these things. And they also worked really hard to cause the people on the island to forget who they were. So the people on the island don't have a memory of ever being a part of this other group. They're completely separate in their identity from these other people. Y'all can just stop me if this starts to sound familiar to you. So they're completely separate in their identity. They don't even realize this other group is them. Like these are their comrades. These are their brethren. So now you've got one group, two groups, same group of people, but they beef it. Like, we're better than you, yada, yada, yada. Then the group that they have left in the main area, they're like, hey, now this one, not only have we, told them that they're demons and they're evil, so now we got them in camps. We got them in camps, and they're like in these slums, ghettos, if you will. They don't really have a lot, but they do put this thing out there that, hey, some of you can use your gift to work for us. Some of you, and if you use your gift to work for us, well, what will happen is you get all these additional privileges. And so now these people are working hard so they can elevate themselves and have a closer proximity to the people that these people that they have on there. Again, I'm telling y'all now, like, this is just the anime, but like, I'm just sitting there last night watching it, like, because I'm listening to them like, we're nothing like those people. All of y'all got the same name, the same lineage, but because you have a closer proximity to the other people, you're clearly not like them. You're not like them. We're more like these people. And I'm like, so I'm watching it and I'm like, oh my God, the Eldians are Black people. The Eldians are Black people. I don't even know what to do with this. I promise y'all, I wasn't high last night. I promise. I wasn't high watching Attack on Titan. Was not high watching Attack on Titan. And so here's where it gets like, so then they've got the one on the island who has awakened the royal power. And this fear that if he keeps it, he's going to wreck shop on everybody that has wronged him. If they realize their power, they are going to destroy all of us. That's the fear, right? That's the fear. They're going to all rise up against us, and they're going to destroy us, and they're going to just going to destroy humanity. It's just going to be a horrible thing if these people realize their power. I'm like, oh, this is what we're doing on Attack on Titan, huh? This is Attack on Titan. This is Attack on Titan. I'm watching an anime. This is Attack on Titan, but here I go. I'm like, oh, so we finna go down this. I'm ready. I'm here for it. I'm here to go down the anime wormhole. I'm absolutely here going down this anime wormhole, and I'm here for it. I'm totally here for it. So I'm really excited to see what happens, because in Attack on Titan, that fear that they have, oh yeah, that starts to happen. That starts to happen. And so now it's like this power is fully awake, fully realized, and they got smoke. It's like these hands is rated in a very real sense. One of the main character has said, these Titan hands are rated E for everyone. These Titan hands are absolutely rated E for everyone. Everyone, and he does mean everyone can get it. So I'm really curious to see how they end it because it's supposed to end in November. I think it's supposed to come back like on the 9th or something, but I don't quote me on that date. I just know I went looking because I felt like really pulled to like, yo, let's start rewatching it again. I'm like, why do I want to start watching it again? And I look and I'm like, oh snap, because the season finale is finally coming back out. Finally coming back out. So that's my little anime rant. It's my rant. It's like showing all of my nerddom. Like, hey, I am I'm a spiritual nerd, and that was my rant on Attack on Titan. Well, since I'm on an anime kick, uh, spoilers once again. Spoilers once again. I'm done with Attack on Titan for anybody that's coming back. Let's talk about Castlevania Nocturne. So Castlevania, y'all know, is based off the video game. And Nocturne picks up with the kids. And what I really thought was cool is they definitely added some diversity in this arc of Castlevania. And I'm horrible with characters' names, so I'm not going to have characters' names because I'm really suck at remembering characters' names until I watch it a couple of times. But there's a young girl, she's Black and she's from Haiti. And she is a child of Ogun. And yes, that is in the show that she is a child of Ogun. And she's able to control metal. She's able to control iron. And what I really love is how they allowed that to manifest. Because when we think about superheroes, Aquaman is the example that I like to use. So you think about Aquaman. Aquaman doesn't just control the seas. Aquaman controls water, period. He can speak to the waters, the creatures that live in the water. But the water that Aquaman can actually control is all water. So if you think about if Aquaman really, 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 and I haven't read the comics in a while, so I don't know if there's a comic book that that does this. We're mostly water. We're mostly water. So Aquaman could really, if he really just really wanted to like go on and just show out a little bit, some blood bending might actually be a thing for Aquaman. So in Castlevania Nocturne, the young lady that's the child of Ogun, she controls the iron and metal in the sand. So she's like causing the earth to move and bend and the sand to rise up and just creating weapons just out of that. I'm like, yo, this is so fire. This is so dope. So I was really excited to see that. Then she meets a Mambo. And the Mambo kind of helps her with honing her gifts and things of that nature. And so you see them pay homage to the ritual that was done prior to the Haitian Revolution. Of Veve and the whole nine. I'm like, yo, so somebody was doing some homework for Castlevania Nocturne. Somebody was out there doing research and homework because that Veve in Castlevania Nocturne looked way too official. Like I was like, I didn't pause it to stare at it too long, but I was like, oh, y'all was really doing some research to see if that's in there. So they got the Mambo. I think Papa Legba shows up in there. And then one of the vampires two of the vampires are Black. And the woman, she was a priestess of Sekhmet. And so she wanted to be I guess you could say like Sekhmet's avatar, but it ends up being the rich white vampire that becomes Sekhmet avatar, which I did feel a way about that. Like I feel like y'all if y'all want to go there, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. But I really enjoyed seeing all the new Black characters in the show. I'm excited to see where it continues because I didn't think I was binge watching, but apparently I did. and finished Castlevania Nocturne in like 24 hours. I was like, dude, wait, am I done? And the way they ended the last episode, I'm like, am I done here? Am I done? I don't think I'm done. I need another episode of Castlevania. So Castlevania I'm on, and I am on Attack on Titan right now since it's getting ready to come back. But I need to see if I need to fit like a filler. I need a filler in there somewhere. So that's all on the anime side of the world. How's everybody from the eclipse? Because good old eclipse in Libra decided, oh, yeah, if you weren't already going through an awakening, I would not be surprised if you started. And I wouldn't be surprised if you had gone through an awakening and a new one triggered. Like if your gifts were kind of hanging out, laying dormant, kind of chilling, like they show up a little bit, but for the most part, they're kind of chilling. But then all of a sudden, after the eclipse, it seems like you got a little bit more razzle dazzle. That's what I've been seeing in folks. Like if they had gifts that they were using them, all of a sudden it seemed like they got a jolt, a jump. And then other folks who maybe not have all of a sudden notice that they do have gifts. Because even one of my, I started hosting a circle for Black women again. I was hosting it before and I had kind of put it to the side. So my Melanated Goddess Collective started over again, actually the day of the eclipse. And so most of my group are my Black goddaughters. And so one of them says, we're all talking, we're just vibing, talking. And she's not one of the ones that I mentor who has displayed access to her gifts, not like that. And she says, yo, is anybody's heart racing? And so someone says, it's mine. And so then I'm looking at her like, what's going on with you today? How did you know her heart was racing? So if you've been feeling like your intuition has been mad on point, like really, really, really on point, really, really on point, just pay attention. I'm encouraging folks to stay grounded, like really, really stay grounded, because Libra is an air sign, so you can be off in the ethers someplace, like way off in the ether. So I'm encouraging folks to stay grounded, do your meditation, drink lots of water, do lots of earthing, do lots of the things so that it does not overwhelm thee when if your gifts are starting to manifest, if they're starting to show up, if you're going through a spiritual awakening, just take care of yourself. Be mindful of your energy, be mindful of the people you spend time with. Just be mindful of your energy right now because, yeah, especially since we're in October and we're like knocking on Scorpio season, be really, really mindful of your energy. Let's see here. And for folks that just popped in, because I see like a lot of folks just popped in. So hi, because I didn't do this at the beginning. How rude. Hi, I'm Iani Fidania Foundation. I don't know if let me see if I can get my hands on some copper beads, but I do actually make most of my Eleques custom. Like I don't actually have much inventory, especially since I haven't been doing any events where I'm a vendor. I don't actually have a lot of on-hand inventory. So like these are, so like this one, same colors, but you'll notice they are not exactly the same. So all of my pieces I make individually. All of them are custom made. But if you inbox me, let me see if I can get my hands on some actual copper. I have some beads that look copper because I couldn't, to your point, find actual copper beads. But I have some that actually look copper. And so the ones that I've made for someone else, they actually haven't, like, they're fire. They're like, I gave away my favorite one. I gave it to one of my goddaughters. She needed it. But I was like, yo, don't nobody buy this one. This one is mine. Clearly it belongs to me because she is fire. She feels so good too. So good. And they all get charged, they all get cleansed, they all get charged, they all get prayed over, every piece, every single piece. And so if any of my God kids pop in, they will tell you I take great care in making sure that the pieces feel good for that person. So I don't even do, unless I feel called to, I don't even do the same like Oriki over every piece. Like these will get the same one for a specific reason. But like I did ones for like Yemoja, and they all got Yemoja because that's my Orisha. Um, I'm in Georgia, but they all got one, but it was like I was like, okay, which one am I singing for this one? Which one am I singing for that one? Which one am I singing for this one? So it just depended on how it was flowing, which one or how I sang on, for them for each one of the pieces. But I enjoy making them, and I'm like that with anything I create. So if I do like a spiritual bath, if I make like an oil, like a money oil, if I do a candle working, my preference is not to do those in mass where I have like batches of them done. If I have a batch of it, generally speaking, it's for me personally. But if I'm doing it for somebody else, I enjoy making them special. I enjoy making them special. And even when I do like a ritual with somebody, the essence of it might be the same, but it'll be nuanced to that person. Okay. It'll be nuanced to, I'm sorry. I was looking at this and I'm like, okay, let's see if I got a reason or another reason. So I got a reason. Okay. Um it'll be nuanced for that person and how it's going to be, how it'll flow through me. I just like my spirit in there, we're going to flow together. And it's interesting someone brought up peace because I was thinking about earlier the idea of being aligned to who you get your anything from, honestly, clothes, shoes, not just anything of a spiritual nature, but anything that uh, is for you, that someone's making with intention, that is someone's making with doing energy work to support you, making sure that you and that person, like, you feel good about how that inner person's energy feels to you. Because even though it's not inherently always their energy, your ashe leaves a signature. Like there's a signature that your ashe has. Even if I'm doing like a reading with someone, I generally there's a certain side effect, especially the first time. If you've had readings with me for a while, it doesn't always happen that way, especially if we've been working together, because you're doing the work and thus you don't have to have this particular side effect. But almost every single person I have ever done a divination, a tarot, whether it's tarot, Ifa, if I'm doing shells, or if I'm simply just showing out and just pulling down and channeling without any tools, the first effect is it's always, hey baby. um it's either it's always one, it is something their spirit has already been trying to tell them. Why? Because that's my intention. My intention is not to give you brand new information. It is to give you the information that your spiritual court has already been trying to communicate with you, but you may not be 100% sure that of what you've been receiving, or you've been ignoring it. And when you receive that information, what ends up happening is the knowing. That's what I call it, the knowing. The knowing ends up taking place. And when the knowing happens, there's an emotional reaction to it. So almost everyone, and this is not gender specific, everyone that sits before me and gets a reading, I could do a one-card divination, one-card reading and make you cry. And it's not my intention. It's the fact that it's a natural reaction to you getting that aha moment, to you getting that piece of clarity that you have been looking for all this time. And then all of a sudden, this person puts it in just plain words like, oh my God, that's the answer I've been looking for. And it's always been right there. It's also that knowing, like, you've always had the answer. I don't have your answer. I simply can hear what you can't hear sometimes. That's it. No one else has your answers. You always have all of your answers. But if you are not someone who is actively turning inward, sitting with yourself, and I don't mean like in the literal, I'm sitting somewhere quietly. I'm not talking about that in the it specifically. I mean in the very general sense, like spending time with yourself, taking yourself out, doing things like just you yourself, and you, like doing things like that. Just being in a relationship with yourself and also knowing yourself so that you know what signs, synchronicities, and symbolism sticks out to you. Everything here is still an extension of you, is an extension of what you are allowing your physical reality. So I'm not giving you an answer that is not already residing in your person. I'm not giving you that kind of answer. Um, Indeed, indeed. So when you get a reading from me or anyone else, it's not that that person has answers you don't have. You have the answers. And I purposely tell you that because I want to empower you to know that you can do what you're like, and you may not be able to do it yourself the way that I do it. That's not the case. I go to the spiritual gym. You might not be someone that goes to spiritual gym. I go to the spiritual gym and I work out. That might not be your thing, but I can still teach you, even in that session, how to get at least yes and no's on the fly when you need them without always having to pick up the phone or go online and book something with somebody else. You're trying to decide, yo, should I go on this trip? I will leave the person with tools they can use to then go forth because it's not going to take anything from me. Like I am a master diviner. I can I'm just good at it. That doesn't mean that sometimes I just want to go partner with somebody else. I don't mind going to an elder. I don't mind going to one of my god siblings. I don't mind going to a friend and say, yo, I'm working on something and right now I'm feeling a little extra human and I need someone to partner with just to make sure, just give me, because I'm human and I'm okay with that. That doesn't make me less phenomenal at what I do. It just means I own those moments and those days where I need the support of somebody else. Because even healers need healers, teachers need teachers. Sometimes I want to be the student, sometimes I want to be led. So sometimes I want to go to somebody else. So, me teaching somebody else how to utilize their gift is not going to negate the fact that I'm still of service in some way, shape, form, capacity. I just don't want them to use me as a crutch. Don't come to me every time you have questions. Like don't come to me with that. Like if I could teach you how to get your own answers, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to teach you how to get your own answers. And then if spirit tells you to come to me, then cool. Come on. Come on over. Come on over, baby. Um, and I'm like, I'm cool with that because sometimes there's a reason why I need that exchange with that person. It's never an accident. If I ever feel called to let somebody read for me, which is like not many people, I don't allow it. Like I watch a couple of pick a cards and I'm picky about who the pick a cards are. And like, let's say TikTok, there's a lot of readers on TikTok, but officially on TikTok, there's only one person I have allowed to do a reading for me. Just one, only one, because I'm real particular. And I also have no problem snatching my own edges. So I don't always need somebody to read for me. I could just sit and, automatic write or something and get what I need. I don't always need someone else to do that with me. But I enjoy the interaction too. I enjoy it, but I'm still particular about who I'm going to enjoy sharing that space with. I'm still really particular about it. But I'm excited about this weekend because this weekend I host my first Black Men's Healing Circle, and I'm so geeked about it. This has been on my mind probably for a couple of years. And I just really decided to let myself get out my own way and put it out there and say, look, whether you can come share space with me in person, or we do this via the Zoomage, I'm doing this. I'm making this happen. And so I'm really excited. Yesterday, I sent email out for the things that they need. If they're not going to come to me in person, the folks coming to me in person, I'll have 90% of what they need. But I'm really excited. And I was really excited on the eclipse starting the Black Women's Circle again. So the men's circle is a 1 day thing. I'm doing 1 day with them. And the Black women's one, I'm doing it as a program. So they have a 6-month journey. And what I love is that our first conversation with the Black women was, what does it mean to be a woman? And the answers were so wide and diverse, and nothing related to how you dress, nothing related to how you look, but everything to do with essence and energy. And like, it was just all so different. And every answer was right. There's no right answer to that. So I'm excited because the men on Saturday have a similar question. When we come together in circle, I'm doing energy work. So they will get a full session. So we'll have conversation about what it means to be a man. How do they honor their divine masculine and their divine feminine within? How can they honor their divine feminine more and see it more in the world, and how it is supportive in their life? And then we're going to do energy work, and they're going to get a guided meditation, which I'm really excited to do. Doing guided meditations is fairly new. I'm a Reiki master. Doing energy work is one thing, but I always want to tell the person to go someplace while I'm working. And it's interesting for me because I'm clairvoyant, but my gift of sight does not manifest in being visualization. I get vision from time to time when I'm awake, but I'm mostly a dream walker. And so when I'm awake and channeling, it may be really descriptive to you, and you may think I'm looking at something. I don't see anything. That's my claircognizance, or clear, depending on how it's popping in, either cognizance or audience that's working. My clairvoyance is still, let's just say something happened as a kid and I shut it down. So I'm still trying to give it space to open back up. But part of my gift as a psychopump is to be able to gift it to the other person. So when I lead people through a meditation, even if they can't visualize, they will that day. They will absolutely see on that day. So everyone I've done one with, I love hearing where they went, because I only give them a seed. I give them like what's the word? A prompt. That's pretty much what I give them. I give them a prompt. So I might tell them to go someplace and sit down and look off in the distance, and they'll see somebody coming. And then I leave them at that, and I don't see nothing else. And then I call them back when it's time. And every person's experience is so unique and so different. I'm just like, this is lovely. This is pretty. I really like this. So I'm really geeked to see how Saturday goes, because I've done one of these with men before, but not all Black men. And I find that the closer the proximity is to being like this person, the people energetically, the stronger the ceremony is. So I'm really good. I'm really, really excited. Really excited. It's going to be it's a small group, so it's going to be really intimate. And because it's a small group, they're going to be able to get a little bit more razzle dazzle out of me. That's the best way to describe it. They are going to be able to get a bit more razzle dazzle because I don't have to send that energy in so many directions. I don't have to send it in so many directions. So smaller group means I got a little more oomph. It's going to be a little more oomph into it when I put it out there. So I'm really geeked. And as a currently small, soon to be large business owner, words, got to be mindful with our words. One of the things that I have allowed myself the space to be is accepting of, a lot of times you see people make content and they're like, your friends are never going to support you, blah, blah, blah. And especially in spiritual work, but in general, that person may not be aligned to you. Um, um, out traditional Ifa, so more Sheshe, not Lukumi Santeria. Nope. Nope. Because you're right, they do not have the Ianifas. Um, or if they do, they don't have the same able. Uh, uh, yeah. So no, not at all. It's interesting. Someone one of the Babas, he made a really cool video about with a story about the elephant and everybody touching the elephant in different places and getting a different thing, but everybody's answer was right. And one of the things, um, the ones who are getting their hand of Ifa, we're doing classes right now. And we talked about how Ifa is anti-dogma. And and you think about what does that mean? Well, understanding the difference between dogma and tradition and what that sounds like when you hear it come from people's mouths. Tradition is oral by nature. By nature, it's not all oral by its very nature. It's oral. It's observatory as well. I would say it's oral and observatory in tradition. When you look up the definition of word, it is a collective of beliefs, culturals that are commonly, meaning it's not 100%. It's just commonly accepted within a group or a body of people. And because it is oral by nature, as the people grow, evolve, and descendants to descendants, those traditions begin to morph, shift, evolve with the people as it goes forward. And dogma is rigid. Dogma has no space for change. Dogma has no space for variation. Dogma means it is what it is, period. Anything contrary to this is wrong. That is dogma. So when you hear people say something and they word it in, well, if it's not, that is dogma. That is not tradition. That is not how tradition moves. And from an African perspective, that is not how tradition has ever lived. That is why the traditions of the mother continent have been able to live in the diaspora the way that they have, because African by nature talks in tradition, not in dogma. It moves, it is organic, it flows like wind and water. It is vast in how it's going to express and manifest, because there is an understanding that the creator is going to manifest in creation in a multitude of ways. And that means the tradition is going to manifest in a multitude of ways. So understanding that, this is why it's been able to live. This is why it's been able to live and to look and not see the beauty. And this is where the oneness, this is what, like, one of the first principles in Ifa is the oneness in everything. You can't believe in the oneness of everything and that everything is simply a reflection of everything else and then operate in dogma. The two cannot exist in the same space. They simply can't. There is no right. Is it effective? Is it effective? And I always say the same thing. I do a few lives, I pop on the live, all these various people from many, many places, many traditions. Inevitably, because I have Ianifa in my name, somebody from a tradition is going to pop into my live. And almost always, there's always a Yemoja or Shango. Almost always. Why? How is that even possible? We all initiated in different places, initiate with different people. Our ceremonies look different. How is it possible that always there's a Yemoja or a Shango that shows up into one of my lives? How? It's because the energy is present. Just because this person got initiated at this place in this way and this person doesn't negate the fact that the activation of the Ashe still took place the way it was supposed to take place for that person. When I look at people who um, um, so here you go. My Yemoja shows up with them. And they're also tied to my lineage. So I am supposed to crown them. I just haven't had that. They're getting added to the mix. So I just haven't. But for my one of my Orishas, Yemoja, particularly Oya and Ogun came through. So, like I said, it's always that like will always attract like. We don't have to go through the same tradition. We don't have to go through the same elders because it's about what medicine do you need. Some people need the medicine. Using Lakumi and Santeria as an example, some people need that medicine. Why? One, because they may have a Spanish background and they need to be, even though they're going to come to tapping into their African roots, tapping into their African roots where there is at least some Spanish speaking in the tradition allows for them to receive the medicine in a way that it makes sense for them. People who are Catholic or come to the tradition of Lukumi Santeria. Why? Because in some instances, some of the Orishas are still syncretized. So then them honoring an Orisha through a saint feels normal, regular to them. It's an easy transition. Some people need the year in white because that is a specific. It is not in every Orisha tradition. So they need the year in white. Why? Because maybe they need the structure in that way. They need that type of structure in their practice. When I first started learning about Orishas and Ifa, and I'm watching content creators, let's be honest, 90% of the content creators you see are, especially in the diaspora anyway, are Lukumi Santeria. 90% of them. I only in this now, right now, can name for myself two outside of me, because my elder, she does not make content. Two that are traditional Ifa, Isheshe. Only two. Only two. Only two. And I follow several. And I follow several. I know one, and he is crowned. Actually, I know two. Sorry, there's three of them. And two of them have been received ceremony through both. They've received Lukumi and Santeria. I mean, Lukumi and Isheshe. And they all say the same thing. If they could just stop beefing over, stop having gang wars. Like, what is a spiritual gang wars? We spiritually gang banging now? What's that you claim? Why you why like you walking around with them colors on? Like, this what we do now? You sound like the colonizers. And that's the way I'm going to say it. You sound like the colonizers. You are looking for an opportunity for division when this is an opportunity for unification. This is an opportunity for us to come together. This is an opportunity to honor the blessing, what a blessing that it is, that Ifa has been able to, in any possible way, spirit gonna get to you in the way that you need to, period. It's like saying, um, you need, it's like saying God ain't got but one phone number. And if you're not standing in the forest on one foot holding a Metro PCS phone, God ain't gonna hear you. That's what it's giving. It's giving more Abrahamic God as opposed to loving all everywhere Oludumare. It's giving more Abrahamic God and less creator. And when you think about creation, creation is boundless. Creation is limitless. Creation is going to create, period. It's like, oh, you thought the slave trade was going to hold us down? Absolutely not. We're going to have all these various, and what it does is it furthers the notion the creator wanted to experience herself, their self, his self, whatever resonated with you in a billion different ways. Otherwise, there wouldn't be all these different names for the creator in all these many traditions. The creator knows all. So why would the creator have an issue that this person's doing it this way, but still honoring them? True, walking in their Iwa Pele, honoring them in the way that spirit has called them to honor them. Why would that be an issue? Because it's different from you. You sound a real Christian right now. And this is not an attack on Christianity, but it is like, it's you, that's how you sound. That's how you sound. Understanding there is a reason why you don't see like anyone from African spirituality knocking on doors talking about, hi, Would you like to hear about our Lord and Savior Olodumare? Like, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Come, come do it only the way that we say do it. You should only do it this way. No, no, no. So when I put on an event, like something to that effect, I am not no longer pressed in ego that my friends, my neighbors are not the ones that book with me. And it has nothing to do with your friends don't support you. They're not in alignment to what I'm doing. Here's taking the ego out. They're not in alignment to what I'm doing. And I got that downloaded in a dream. I had a dream and I was walking around talking to people, and I met this young lady, and she was talking about she was going to initiate in Santeria. And in the dream, I was like, but why? Because in the dream, I was like, what about me? But I realized that's what she needed. That's what she needed. That's not what I needed. I needed a gateway to learn. So, me discovering content creators who are more aligned or they're learning came from Lukumi Santeria, even if they're not active practitioners, but that's the learning they have. That's what I needed to open the door. And I had to learn about the tradition so that I knew, because for me, I didn't think I was going to initiate. Because even though I had zero, zero desire, or at least I thought, to be a priest, as a woman, I didn't like the idea that you was going to tell me I can't. That just didn't work for me. So I had to go through a tradition and an elder that the medicine, because if you look in, like, if I was to say, just tell you my odus, you would see that's what I'm supposed to be. Not even just my odus. If you look at my astrology birth chart, it's what I'm supposed to be. If you look at my tarot birth cards and my life path number, it's what I'm supposed to be. That's what I'm supposed to be. Like literally, my tarot birthday card is the high priestess. It's what I'm supposed to be doing. I didn't take my card literally. Like my card was like, no, we taking this real literal. I'm gonna do this in a literal sense. Like everything freaking aligned. I got a like South Node in Pisces in my 9th house, and I'm a life path 11. You not only is you supposed to be a priest in this life, but you've been a priest in multiple lifetimes. Just go ahead and go off. Do what you do, Shawty. This is what you do. This is what you do. And I'm like, and I was already on the cusp of an African going to African spirituality because I wasn't raised. Shout out, I have a 22 personality number. Going through like, you know, being raised in the South in the Bible Belt, but I was not raised as a Christian. I was raised as an Israelite. So again, I'm already on the edge. I'm already on the outside. I'm already on the outside. So let's just keep going. I'm already on the outside. I don't fit in with y'all anyway. I don't fit in with y'all anyway. So, you know, we're just going to go ahead and keep going. Yes. And that's why I'm like, I don't have no issue with, like, for me, it's like, where's your spirit calling you to go? And are you honoring that? Because that's the whole point. If you just like look at African spirituality in a theological perspective, all of them are you being the you that you wanted to be when you incarnated in this life? Notice I didn't say a job title or anything. Are you being the you that you wanted to be when you incarnated in this life? That's it. That's the point. And in that being, in that you-ness, understanding that you and the source are one. That's why if you go to my website, the top of the page, the first thing you see is self-love is an act of worship. You are the altar to the divine. Your relationship with yourself and how you see yourself, how you honor yourself is reflective of how you see your relationship with your creator. If you treat yourself as small and minuscule, you will always see the source of all as so big and so vast that could not possibly be one with you. You can't perceive yourself in that way. Thus, you could not see yourself one with that type of energy because you can't see that energy in yourself. You have to see the energy in yourself. I said this on a live before. If you are looking from a sign for God, you need to go look in the mirror. Uh, Look, just hit me up. I don't mind if they're open to listen and talk like that. You're it's one. You and the source are one. So when you're looking for what I wonder what God looks like, look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. Realizing things like honoring your Ori. Your Ori is you. Your Ori is you. I mean, it's literally in the definition. It's your head. It's you. You are your Ori, and your Ori is you. And so, to have a tradition that tells you every morning, honor your Ori. So, when reality, it's telling you every morning, honor yourself. Every morning, every day, honor you. Give gratitude to you. Who can make the decision around which aspects? Then it also teaches you sovereignty. It is you in your spiritual council. So when you visualize a council and you're sitting in a council room and these are your council, here's a visual that y'all can see. You see the king, the emperor sitting. Well, there goes my emperor tarot card today. You see the emperor, the empress sitting there in their council, the emperor, the empress sitting there in their council, supporting them. So then what it also teaches you is personal sovereignty because you can't have anything unless you require of what? You, your head. You make the decisions about how the doors open and close in your life. You make the decisions. You make the decisions about whether or not this part of your spiritual team is who's supporting you or this part of your spiritual team is supporting you. But you have learned, a lot of us have grown up in such a way where we're told not to trust ourselves. Don't lean into your own understanding. That means it's immediately telling you you don't know nothing. You know something. You may not know everything, but you do know something. And you know everything you're supposed to know for yourself. I may not be able to answer the answers for you. I can't give you your answers. I'm a medium. I can pull the answer out of you, but I don't have your answer. You have your answers. But if you grow up being told, don't trust what you know, don't trust your instincts, don't trust your intuition, don't trust the energy of your emotions, don't trust anything about you, always look outside of you because you have no answers. No, you have all of the answers. All of the answers are within you. We don't have to learn who we are. We have to remember. We have to illuminate who we are. Everyone has a destiny. You have to do it. What that means is walk your walk. Everything else will fall into line the way it's supposed to be. I grew up I grew up in the Abrahamic tradition, but I grew up in the mostly, as an Israelite. So it was pretty black. When you think about it, I grew up in pretty black. Even though it didn't have any of these other things going on, it still had a connection to being black. So I was already there's a seed. I grew up and I'm like, all I want to be is a witch. That's it. I want to be a witch and a teacher and a doctor. Let me say that again. Little kid me, I want to be a witch, a teacher, and a doctor. Now, did I imagine as a little kid that I would do all three of those simultaneously in one thing? Not necessarily. I probably thought I was going to have three jobs instead of having one thing that I do and how I'm of service to other that encompasses me being a witch, a teacher, and a doctor. Just like I said as a little kid. See, we sometimes forget children, though impacted by the veil of forgetfulness, it is not as thick when they're small. That's why you see babies looking off in the ethers, and you're like, what are they looking at? They're probably looking at somebody. They're probably looking at somebody. They're probably looking at somebody that you can't see. When they say they want to put this piece of random thing in their mouth, and you're like, don't you know that'll make you sick? No, they don't know because they still remember being God. And so God doesn't feel like God's going to be sick by anything because why? God is God. They still remember their oneness with the Creator. They don't have to be taught. They still remember. We cause them as parents and doting adults, and really, we cause children to forget. We do that. Trauma causes children to forget. When we tell Billy, don't jump off of that thing, you can hurt yourself. Billy, don't do that. You can do such and such a thing. They bring you these little innocuous things like, here, mommy, look at this. Not realizing everything is one with source, not just people, everything. Everything we see in our physical reality is imbued with source energy. When they bring you something, they're bringing you God because they still see the creator in this creation. They still see it. We have forgotten. We don't see it anymore. So they're trying to show it to us. But they don't have the language to say to us, look, it's God in this leaf, or look, there's God in this rock. They just say, look at this amazing thing that I picked up, and you should be excited about it too. So when we are trying to re-illuminate that part of ourselves that remembers its oneness with the creator, that remembers its destiny, sometimes I tell my students, go back to your childhood. And if you can't remember, you got to do something to activate it. Do something that activates your childhood. Coloring in a coloring book, you think it's a coincidence all of a sudden all these adult coloring books started to come out? We're trying to help us get back to our childhood. Color in a coloring book. Do you remember you play video games? Play a video game. And play an old one. Play one that was out when you was a kid. Like get into some Super Mario Brothers and try to like beat Bowser. Like really get into it. Get into it. Play some Dr. Mario. Ooh, that'd be fun. Like don't play Tetris, play Dr. Mario. Play Dr. Mario. Play some Cubert. Yes, I'm showing all of my age. But play some Cubert. Play some Cubert. Do that. Oh, if you can get a Nintendo, the pad that you have to jump around on, or some Duck Hunt, come on, man. Come on. I'm sorry. I'm Generation X and I'm dating all of myself. And it's okay. Dating myself in a major, major way. Go to the park, get on a swing, and swing as high as you can. That little belly drop feeling that makes you want to put your feet down on the ground. Don't put your feet down. Keep going. Be safe, but keep going. Keep swinging. Keep swinging. Go slide down a slide. What is the last time you slid down a slide? Really reconnect with your childhood. Yes, and asking her, like, what do you need? What do you want? How can I nourish you today? How can I nourish you today? For my mediums and intuitives who are able to channel your inner child, like literally channel him, her, them, channel them and ask them what they need. And when you're done with the conversation, you know, children needs positive reinforcement. So now you got to like treat yourself. What you gonna eat? Some fruit snacks, a cookie, some chips. What you gonna do? Treat yourself. Treat yourself. You know what? You did such a good job. Here's a lollipop. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Honor that. So when I look, my inner child, right now I'm working on my inner teenager because little girl me, oh, she's living it up. You said we're doing candle work? We just did a candle altar for the Elay? Little girl me is like, spells! This is spells! I'm doing magic. Little girl me is pleased. Little girl me is pleased. Anytime I get to teaching, that little girl me that used to grade, take the teacher's grade book and grade all the papers in the class. Yeah, I was that kid that the teacher gave all the classes work to and graded papers. That's me. That's me. That's me. So me giving homework to my godchildren, you have homework. This is your assignment for the week. Like their assignment this week is they have to write themselves a check for $100 from the universe. Oh, it's 3:33. Yay. Write themselves a check for $100 every day this week and spend it on themselves. They have to spend it on themselves. They are not allowed to spend it on anybody else. They must absolutely spend the $100 on themselves because they have to get used to the idea that they can spend money on the things that they want, on the things that they desire, on things that make them happy, and still know everything else is going to be taken care of. So no, you can't spend the $100 on somebody else. No, you can't pay no bills with it. I need you to go get your nails done. I need you to go out to eat. I need you to buy some shoes. That's what you need to spend your $100 on. Spend it on something. Spend it on yourself. That's their homework. Why? Because I am a perpetual teacher, and I feel like any good teacher is always going to give you homework. So they always have homework. They always have homework because I want them to be able to apply what they're learning into their life. Like, don't just give me the answers in class, apply it to your life. Apply it to your life. And I love when they message me like, yo, FYI, even when they're going through something. I love that there's a space created where they feel like they can reach out, like, yo, I'm going through dot, dot, dot. Do you have a moment? Like one, I'll just say she had a thing like ooh, yeah. The eclipse was eclipsing. The eclipse was doing the absolute most. And so I had to tell her, I was like, you need to move your energy. And so I told her, it's like when you're taking your shower, pull the energy down. She doesn't do energy work. I just told her what to do. Like, visualize it. Take yourself and pull the energy through your body. So it'll come out your feet, and Mother Earth can help you balance it. And then pull energy up through your feet while you're in the shower. And I said, if it works, text me and let me know you're good. She sent me a message like, I'm okay. I'm like, I know. And for them, that's is like, I give you a gesture and feedback. That's it. Tell me if it works. To initiate. What's beautiful is they all came to me for Ifa. You get that? They didn't all come to me for Ifa, but they all came to me for Ifa. It's just not in all of their path that Ifa is their practice. Ifa is simply their medicine. Ifa is simply their medicine. I have at least 3 who have made no indication. It's in alignment for them, but they haven't made an indication that they want to go. But they see the value in learning about the principles. They see the value in how walking in Iwa Pele is going to support their life anyway. And honestly, that's more than enough. That's more than enough. It is absolutely more than enough. The ones who, the program, it's got Ifa in the name, but the purpose of the program is the first half, from self to source. Ifa is just helping as a support for me in the program and how I teach it. But the purpose of the program is to take you from self to source. That's the purpose. To take you from feeling like you are small and you are just human, to taking you to understanding that you are divinely human and you are gloriously God, goddess, celestial, whichever nomenclature applies for you. That's the point. Ifa being in their spiritual practice, I told them this: I'm giving you a skeleton. I am simply giving you a way. You need to listen to spirit as you are cultivating your practice and learn your way. You have to add blood and bones to the skeleton that I'm going to give you and breathe life into it. You have to breathe life into that. Because even for me, taking what I learned from my Ialode and how she did certain things and things that, and then I had to breathe life into it for myself. So there's a specific type of divination that when I'm doing it for myself, and I do it with my god sister, because we meet sometimes in the mornings and we do work together. And I will sing She's Coming Around the Mountain. And yes, I'll be sitting there mid divination. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. One of my godchildren I ended up doing one for her, and she's like, do you actually know the words to that song? And my first off, what you're not going to do is judge me, because that's what that felt like. It felt like a lot of judgment. And yes, she'll be coming around the mountain, she'll be coming around the mountain, she'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. I have literally been singing that song since I got out of an initiation. It has been a thing, a constant thing. Don't ask me why, because I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I know that spirit speaks to me in music. So I know the music is significant. And I know if I don't do the song, it don't feel complete. The ritual is not complete unless I've sung the song. It's not complete. It is incomplete if I haven't sung the song. So I have to sing it. So it's somewhere, it's important. And it chose that song because that song is something that I knew. I could sing it. And it's funny because I was talking to somebody, he's like, I think I know why you sing that song in particular. And I'm like, so part of it is the she. I do know part of it, she's coming around the mountain is a reference to me receiving the message in the Odu, and Odu is a she. So I do know part of it is that, but I don't know what the rest of it is. I don't know. I don't know. Other than my inner child wanting to be involved in the divination process, I don't know. I have no idea. But everybody thinks it's funny. Anybody that gets that particular kind of divination and hears me do it thinks it's the like, yeah, we like this song. See, I thought about my ancestors. This feels more this feels really like my inner child or past life. And they think it's funny. And they think it's funny when I'm channeling music. And it's really cool because I've kind of triggered my godchildren to do the same thing because every divination um is if I tell people all the time, if I give you a reading, I don't care what kind of reading it is, a tarot reading, an e-file reading, if I don't drop one song during that reading, did I actually read you? Did it happen? Because if I didn't give you at least one song of some kind in the course of the reading, whether the song is for you or just me doing what I do with music, you ain't get a real reading. You didn't get a real reading. I'm telling you now, if I don't give you a song in the course of the reading, you may have gotten a real reading, but it was, yeah. I wasn't having fun. I wasn't having fun. I wasn't having fun. But if I give you a song, oh yeah, I'm in there. Like I'm gone. Song will show up and I'm like, oh yeah, it's party time. Spirit's really coming through now. Because I had to give you a song. And it doesn't, and there is no genre of music that is out of bounds. Every genre of music. If it's a song I can pull from the ether, oh, you're gonna catch it. And I don't go looking for it. I'm never looking for a song. But I know it's a signature. You always get a song. I always make you cry. You get a song, I make you cry, and you always get some sort of self-care. You will always have to do self-care working with me because again, self-love is an act of worship is my mantra for what I do. So you always gonna get that. You mean like the individual ones that are specifically on my spiritual court? Like, do I know like who on my mother's side, who on my father's side, like that? So, not in totality, but very, let's just say I know a good bit of them. Um, in deepening into my ancestral practice, um, um, uh, probably not, and maybe probably so. Who knows? That might be possible. Um, Especially if it's the dude that's always behind me. Um, so I may know that it's a guy. I may know that it's a masculine energy. That part I probably do know. As far as his name, no, I just know he's always close, and the people that I allow to see always see him. Always see him, and he's always in the same spot. Um, no, but I think that it's a masculine energy, just simply because it's the one other than my son who's always close. And who knows? It might be him. Might be my son. Um, but yeah, I will say that the one people who I've allowed in that space with me always indicate there's a masculine energy, always a masculine energy. And by and large, he looks the same to everybody. So all different people, never at the same time, never in the same place, but they always describe him almost in a similar way. I think the one thing that changes is like clothes, but everything else about him, generally speaking, is exactly the same. It's probably him. But when I look at my ancestral practice, what I did was deepening into my practice. Dorothy's house does great content on ancestor veneration. Um, very great content on ancestor veneration. And for me, I was, I think I might have been channeling this particular day, but I was doing a Soulful Saturday. So when I was holding Orisha services on Saturday mornings. This particular Saturday, I was thinking about when you go to your ancestors for abundance. And I'm like, in African American tradition, you know, when it comes to ancestor veneration, going to your ancestors for specific things, being specific, um, what being always being specific about which ancestor that you ask. So, for example, before I started doing elekes and things, one, it was not on my radar. Once again, like spirit just, you know what it feels like when you got that one friend and that friend, you're single, and that one friend that's always trying to set you up on a date with somebody, and you can feel that they're plotting on you, like, hey, we should go with so and so and so and so and so and so. Oh, by the way, so and so is going to be there. That kind of feeling, that feeling you get when that happens, yeah, that's how spirit sometimes feels to me. So there was too many things happening around me with elekes that came up, and so I went to the altar like, yo, what y'all up to? What y'all doing? What y'all doing? Y'all think I don't notice? What y'all doing? What is this? What's happening? Just go ahead and tell me. So you want me to start, like, is this something I'm just doing for me? Nope. Is this for me and my God siblings? Nope. Am I gonna do this for other people? Um, um, I got you, hun. Um, am I supposed to be doing this for other people? Yes. So the moment I knew I was supposed to be doing it for other people, I called for my ancestors good at business. And I was like, hey, uh, specifically asking the ancestors good at business, help me strategize a business plan to make this successful. And so that's what I did, because that's how I work with my spiritual court. We be having business meetings. Like, yo, like, is this price point good? Should I go up? Should I go down? Like, when should I launch? Things like that. Like, that's what we do. So this particular Soulful Saturday, I was thinking about abundance and the ancestors you call. And so then I get this like random plop in my head, because at that time, what I had seen was content around specifically African Americans, but I saw some other people say the same thing, that they did not interact with their white ancestors. And I understood the logic why. However, for my own personal spiritual practice, I always have to go and concern what's going to work for me. So in that particular session, I blurted out, like, it wasn't a plan, it wasn't a note that I wrote down I was going to talk about. I said, what if my white ancestors are the one that has the access to the money? And when I call for abundance, because I'm not specifically trying to include them, that's why it's not coming in as overflow, it's coming in as a trickle. And I was like, so immediately it's time to go to the altar, because I'm like, where the heck that come from? Where did that come from? And so then I see Dorothy's house talking about trying to see who, she talks about the process of learning which one of your ancestors is working, who's resting, and who's working with you specifically. And maybe who needs, and I added who needs elevation work. That was something I added. So one particular evening, kids were gone, so it was quiet. I sat at my ancestor altar. I have a notebook, a journal specifically for questions for my ancestor. Like, that's its specific purpose. It sits on the altar. I have an ancestor journal. Pull my ancestor journal out. Thankfully, I'll say before I knew I was having an awakening, I felt really called to start working on my family tree and ancestry. Open up ancestry, write down all the names of my mother's side that I have, all the names of my father's side that I have, and one by one, probably took me like an hour and a half, going that one name at a time. Are you working? Are you resting? Are you working with me? And have you been elevated? Or do you need elevation work done? And I went through every ancestor. Then I tried to see, because based off names, it was hard to tell. If I could tell if there was anyone whose name I had that was white. And it didn't seem like I had any of them like my white ancestors' names. It seems that the white ancestors I have were maybe the fathers of some of the ancestors on my tree, just simply based upon the way one of my ancestors answered the question. It was the feeling was she didn't want to say. And because I have been in a similar space as her, I understood why she didn't want to say, and I didn't push it. Um, so I asked, because I've also had my DNA done. So I went through lineage, like, you know, genetic lineage. And I was like, okay, do I have any Scottish ancestors that are, you know, benevolent and working with me? Yes. Hmm. Do I have any Irish ancestors that are benevolent and working with me? Yes. Danish? Yes. Swedish? Yes. So I got to English, and especially those if you're an African American, like, but I asked, like, do I have any English ancestors? Yes. So I absolutely have white European ancestors in my spiritual court working on my behalf. So then I asked the question that most people don't want to ask, but I asked it because it was important for me to know. I said, one, do you need elevation work? Yes. Two, do any of you own slaves? Yes. And I think that's one of those things as especially Africans in the diaspora, African Americans and other folks that are descendants of enslaved people, is coming to the understanding that we have ancestors that owned our other ancestors. Like, it's not just white people who have to do that work. We have to do that work too. We have to come to that understanding that we have ancestors that owned our other ancestors. And being open, and this is not work for everyone to do. Like, everyone's not called to do ancestor elevation work. Some of you are just meant to venerate, and that's it. Some of you are meant to venerate with no altar, and that's fine. Everyone's journey with their ancestors is going to be completely and uniquely different. And it is not tied to any one tradition. It is simply you, about the relationship with you and your ancestors. Your tradition kind of gives you some ways to do it. But, my ancestors that are Indigenous American, I do some other thing, I may do something different for them. I have ancestors that are not only Nigerian, I have some Congo ancestors. So making sure, trying to figure out some ways to honor them. Um, I knew Irish ancestors were probably working with me because I got really called to a Celtic cross, like really called to one that I saw in a store. It was like loud. It was like, hey, come here, girl. Come here. Come here. And it's like several pieces there, but that particular one was like, hey, girl, come get me. Come here. I'm like, oh, okay. And Brigitte has come to me more than once. So I already knew, like, probably Irish. The rest were surprised. Rest were surprised. But I knew probably Irish. Um, and I don't know with Swedish and Danish if they do anything with the Norse, because if they do, then they've probably shown up already for me as well. So I already know that they're present. I already know that they're present. And I've had a few show up in dreams. So I know. I already know. But now having to be conscious of that and how that needs to play into my veneration practice. How do I feeling comfortable calling on them? Do I want to do the elevation work first before I call on them? Because that part might need to be done first, but I already know they're there and they're working on my behalf. So now when I'm thinking about calling in like overflow and money and things like that, I'm like, hey, any of you that know what it means to be wealthy, like long term wealthy, like leaving land and monies and bonds and go for y'all. I'm calling y'all. I'm calling y'all. What, like, let's go. Let's talk about it. What do we need to do? What do we need to do? Because I can see it in my birth chart, so I already know I have access to it. So let's just, how can we? What's my spiritual pin number? I already know it's in my spiritual bank account. I'm trying to make a withdrawal of substantial size. How can I make this withdrawal? So being able to do stuff like that, and we're in our journey right now as a group in the ancestor part. So I know that's going to be, conversation that we do and how we do that work, but knowing that it's going to be different for everybody. And I feel like people need that reminder. You don't have to have a practice that's identical, because if the creator wanted to be identical, we would all be identical. We'd all be identical. The beauty of the one individuality in our oneness is the tapestry that it makes. And what we're being asked to do is simply recognize each other, not judge, simply recognize, like, oh, okay, okay, I see you. Yes, and I see you, and I see me in you. That's what it's supposed to be like. That's what it's supposed to be like. It's not supposed to be all, like I said, spiritually gang banging. We gang like that just sounds crazy to me. Like we ganging we gang banging in the spiritual streets. What set you claim? Who jumped you in? That sounds real ridiculous, don't it? It don't even sound like that should be a thing. But yet, who jumped you in and what set you claim? All right. Okay. Okay. All righty then. All right. Whatever you feel like, it's okay. Whatever you feel like is you walking in Iwa Pele. Go off. Do your thing. Y'all, these dogs gonna get hit. Sorry, I looked out the window and my neighbor's dogs, who are never in the yard, are chasing the Xfinity truck. Who left? Good, because it means they're not messing with my internet. All right, so I've been online an hour and 21 minutes, which means I got about a hot 10 minutes because I'm not staying on here longer than an hour and a half. So while I am finishing making this last set, well, it's not the last set of leckes, but the last set of these particular leckes, I'm open. I'm open. Ask me something, and if within reason, I might be able to answer it within reason. I ain't got no lottery numbers. Don't ask me that. I got no lottery numbers for you. Mm-mm. Don't ask me, should you stay with John? Because if you had to ask the question, you should probably consult with your head. So don't ask me that either. But anything else, I might be able to answer. I might. And I'm being honest. I might be able to answer. And I'm not doing readings today. I'm not doing readings today. I got to manage my energy. I got some ceremonies to do this weekend. So I'm not doing readings today because I'm not really I'm not prepared mentally to do it. And so if I end up starting channeling, that's one thing, but I'm not purposely doing any. But yeah, my last 10 minutes, I'm just gonna let y'all ask me whatever you want to ask me. So the floor is yours. And this goes for Facebook and YouTube as well, since I'm online there. Any questions, I will answer. And if the question was answered on a different platform, I'll make sure I read the question out loud as much as I can see it. And that's that. That's that. And don't be all quiet now. Like, ask something. Some of y'all been online with me for a minute. Ask me anything. Ask me my favorite color. Ask something. All right, 3. 3, 6, 3, 6. Okay. Oh, and y'all didn't see my other ones that I did. I did these. I am Ian Nifa. No, I didn't go to Africa. My Ialode lives in Baltimore. Huh. Yes, I was very fortunate. Spirit knew it. Like when I say the Spirit knew what they were doing, because I got I found her through someone introducing me to her radio show, and then the first divination I received from her was given to me as a birthday present. That's when you know that elder is aligned. Like watching their content, learning how they teach. So because every teacher ain't meant for every student. So learning how they teach lets you know, are they going to be someone that can be supportive to you on your journey? And then to be in an elay of nothing but womb holders. Nothing but womb holders. Nothing but womb holders. I was like, ooh, snap. Especially since I was on a journey of learning how to balance my feminine and masculine. Perfect. Could not have asked for better. It was exactly what it was supposed to be. And she's the best. She's the one, and she does not. She wasn't one to have us rest on her or our tools. Like she always reminded us that we are the complicated ritual and the advanced spiritual tool. So that was a good question. That was a good question. But yes, it is there in my name because that is it's not just there. It's that like it really I am Enifa. 369 12 Ashe. I think that at some point in my lifetime, um, I would like to go. I would like to know if I am Yoruba or Igbo, because they both, when I meet one, say that you're a Yoruba. You're a Yoruba woman. This dude sent me a picture of his mama. It's like, you look just like my mama, gap and all. And I was like, I'm gonna take it as a compliment. Thanks. But then I meet somebody Igbo and they say the same thing. Like, you're one of us. So I would really love to know specifically, because I'm 42% Nigerian. So I would love to know specifically where my people's, and it could be a mixture. That might be why they both claim me. It could be a mixture. I might have some Igbo and some Yoruba, but I'd be curious to know where my people's is from and be able to go and like see and be able to go see. But when it came up, because like I said, I didn't think I was going to initiate and ask, it was like, no, you're gonna do it here. Your elder is here. And I'm like, okay, I'll be waiting. What do you want, Jackie? Oh, more. Long as nobody tells me you trouble gal. That's what a Senegalese man told me. I smiled at him. And he was like, "Oh, you got to gap. You was trouble girl." I'm like, "Bruh, not the gap slander, not the gap slander. No, no. I now know that was a compliment. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I now know that was a compliment. But he showed said, "You trouble gal." Um, I live close to. Hi there on YouTube. I live close to Oyo Tunji. Like it's only 2 hours away from me. And the first time I went to go to the village, it was so funny. I met two Ias, and I just, it's first time there. I'm like taking pictures. I was like, "Would y'all take a picture with me?" And I smiled. And she was like, both of them were like, "Oh, you are one of us." And so we have a picture, the three of us, like, all of his gaps, all of his gaps. And growing up feeling a way about my gap, it was so healing to just have people say, like, "Oh, you have a gap. It's beautiful. Oh my God." And I wish I'm like, where were you at when I was 8, 9? With 8, 9, 10, where people were talking about my gap. I needed you. I need you on those days where I laugh and a whistle comes through. I need like I needed you then. But now it's like, and I thought about closing it. Like I really gave great consideration to closing my gap. Um, and they were like, "No, no, yeah. I don't feel that way anymore." But I did for a time. I wanted it closed. For a time, I wanted my gap to be closed because I was so self conscious about it. I know that now, but growing up, oh no. You want to close your gap. Like, you're not going to close it? Jaheen, Auntie Cookie's calling you.
He's here. Oh, he's in there. I was just wondering where he was at. It's fine. I was
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah. I am 42% Nigerian. My sister has one, and she is. I've heard many things about having a gap. I'm like, okay, very like that's cool. But I would I feel like if I got to visit Africa at all, anywhere in Africa, I would need a lot of tissue because the day I went to Oyo Tunji, first time I went was 2021. I think it was 20. Yeah, I think it was 2021 because I had just moved in here. So, 2021, I went to Oyo Tunji for Juneteenth. They had a Juneteenth festival, so that's why I went. And it was like the ancestors, like, you should go, you should go, you should go, you should go, you should go. So I drove up there, and you walk, if you've never been or watched Bigger Than Africa. And so you get up there and you have this, the opening to the village, the entryway. And the moment I crossed through and got like actually, paid for my tour and got in there, I cried. I cried. And it was not my tears only. It was such an emotional, visceral reaction to being in that space. Like it was just absolutely emotional. I brought stuff with me because I was aware they had a few shrines because I looked at some things online and I knew I wanted to go to see Yemoja. I had not, and the way that I just sobbing, just overwhelmed with emotion, overwhelmed. And when I was a little kid, I was prone to hanging out with older women, like elders, like some of my grandma. I was just prone to doing that. And apparently I had not grown out of that. So I went and sat in like their courtyard, and this woman comes to sit beside me. And the whole rest of the time I was there, I ended up talking to her. So she and I just talked, talked all the way up until I met the other two ladies to get their picture. Um, I went for the following year. I went to their Oshun festival, and let's. So I went to the Oshun festival, and again, first off, in much of my true fashion, I found an old lady to hang out with. But she and I just immediately like this is my bestie. This is my new bestie. And she was so cool. She was so cool. And the energy exchanging between the two of us was just so magical. So magical. So magical. And so at the time, I did not know. Let's just say I had not received official confirmation. I knew, but I had not yet received official confirmation that I was also going to crown Oshun. I just had a feeling it was coming. So I'm sitting there, and she's an Iyalode, and she's a priestess of Oshun. She and I talking. She whispers in my ear, you're going to be one of her priestess. And I just smile. I ain't say nothing. I just smile. And so we're just sitting there talking. She says, I need to take a selfie with you. And I'm like, what? She said, I need to take a selfie with you because you're going to be important. And I want to be able to say I got a picture with you. Okay. So I sit there and I take a picture with her. And she's like, you need to get some Oshuni leches before you go. And so I was like, if I get them, I need you to present them to me. So before I left, I got some. And I went and found her. I had was walking around, I found some friends, but I went and found her. And I was like, it would be like, I would really appreciate if you did this for me. So she blessed me and she gave them to me. And I was like, okay. And somebody caught it on camera for me. A friend of mine saw it and she caught it. She's like, but a funny thing that happened, because a couple of things. One, other than the village, it wasn't that I went out a lot. Is like, yeah, I'm Ianifa, yada. Wasn't like that. I'm still not really like that. And So I'm in the village, and the first time somebody prostrated in front of me, I low-key freaked out on the inside. It was like a delayed reaction, like, oh, like it was such a delayed reaction because I'm like, is this for you, fool? It's for you. But the first time I went, I was cool. Energy was moving, but I was cool. I didn't see, I wasn't paying attention. I was talking to somebody. We was talking. And then they started to do the Egu masquerade, the Gumu masquerade. I didn't see it coming. So I wasn't prepared to ground myself. And the moment I turned around, I was like, chair now. Somebody give me a chair now. Girl, I was like, I said, I'm finna leave. I'm finna leave. If y'all give me some water now, I'm gonna leave the building. I'm gonna leave the building. And y'all just look after my body. I'm gonna leave the building. Y'all just look after my body. Just look after it. Just look. And they're like, oh, like, thankfully there were people around, got me a chair, got me some water. The caterpillars kept coming to me. And every time a caterpillar comes to me, you know that means your husband coming. I'm like, what do you mean it was several? You got a couple of options. Oh, okay. We like options. We like options. Okay. All righty then. All right. But I haven't been to the village, and I know why I haven't been to the village in a minute. I haven't been called to go. When it's time, I'll be there. When it's time, I'll be there. But I have not been called to go, and I know why. I know why. I know why. I'm waiting for somebody to not be there. When they're not there, I'll probably go. When they're not there, I will probably go and go hang out and have a good time and sit in the energy and chill. I want to take my god kids though. I want us all to go. I want to go there, and I want to go to the Angel Tree in South Carolina. I think it's in Charlotte. I want to go to both of those. And the Angel Tree, oh, we doing her like the tree. Look, they may not know, but the tree knows. We doing some work at the Angel Tree. We the Angel Tree. We doing a thing. So I'm really excited. Um, I'm looking forward to April because the Black Women's Circle that I'm leading, it's virtual, but April, we are all going to get together in person, and we're going to do like a graduation ritual that we finished the program. So I'm really excited about that. I'm excited that after this men's circle that I do this weekend, I'll have a better idea of how I want it to flow. And then I'm going to do a much larger scale one, like go get like an Airbnb or something with a fire pit. Cause I want to make sure the men folks have fire, and whatnot, where we can do circle and ritual together then. So there's that. And apparently I must need to go to the village because I started reminiscing out of nowhere, or I need to reach out to somebody. We'll see which one it is later. All right. Okay. Hour and a half has hit. And I want to get ready for my goddaughter's one-on-one. So one last question, and then I'm going to finish this Eleke, and go get ready for my one-on-one. Anything. Okay, so I got YouTube is in the building. You are so welcome. I'm so welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I didn't know why I came on live today. Oh, I received that. Thanks. I received that. All I knew is the high priestess came up and the star was like, oh, okay. Yes. And my child keeps coming in here, so I know it's time. It's time for me to clock out. So I shall, and you as well. Oh, that felt nice. Is that nice? You like that? Yeah. All right. Y'all have a beautiful day.
Mommy's kissing.
Yeah. Have a beautiful Wednesday, day, night, evening, wherever this may find you. And have a great rest of your week. And y'all take care. Bye. Yes, child. I'm done. Yes, there we go. And more. I'm hot. It's outside. That's why I want to go out there.